Steph, Landon, and Noah are the only people in this movie that I like, and everybody else can go to hell. Hello everyone, I'm Ace of Nina, and today I am going to be watching and reviewing After. After is the movie adaptation of the book by the same name by Anna Todd, which was originally a Harry Styles One Direction real person fanfiction on Wattpad that then got turned into a series of books, with Hardin playing Anna Todd's fictional version of Harry Styles. Now, I myself am an avid purveyor of fanfiction, and while I was reading original stories and some fanfictions on Wattpad around the same time, I did not actually read After while it was on Wattpad, and I have not read the book, so I am going into this blank. Also, I do know that everyone and their mothers has been watching and reviewing After We Collided, but I didn't feel like it made sense for me to pay money for a movie that I knew I would not like, so I am reviewing this instead, like a year late. I'm so sorry, Harry Styles. You did not deserve this. So the movie After starts off like every other book to movie adaptation with intro narration from the main character. Tessa Young is a new freshman with a boyfriend who's still in high school and an extremely overbearing mother who has her own plans for Tessa's future. Her mom is played by Vivian from Legally Blonde, i.e. Selma Blair, who is so cool. As soon as they get to Tessa's new dorm, they meet her new roommate, Steph, and her girlfriend, Tristan. Steph, favorite character in the movie. Tessa's mom almost immediately doesn't like Steph, probably because she's vaping inside the dorms and because her girlfriend mentions going clubbing, and that does not align with her plans for Tessa's college life. Her mom also very quickly decides that she wants Tessa to switch out of that dorm to get a different roommate, and while I understand being concerned, her mom makes really snap decisions when it comes to Tessa, because I'm honestly not sure what she expects her daughter to do in college. Like, even if her roommate was somebody else, did she think that her daughter would never be exposed to alcohol on campus? Tessa's going to have to make her own choices, and her mom doesn't seem to understand that, which leads to conflict later on in the movie. Also, the classes that Tessa is taking are really confusing. She seems to be taking general education classes, at least some, because she's undecided, like the astronomy class that she's taking, which they show later in the movie, and the English class that she's taking. But at the same time, she's in classes for juniors, like Econ 101 and the English class where there's like at least 3 third years there. Is her school just extremely small? Because it doesn't look it given how large the class sizes are. When I was in college, it was hard for me to get even my major requirements for that year while I was in the year. Taking senior level classes or junior level classes as a freshman was impossible. So Tessa goes to take a shower, and when she comes back to her room, she finds that a stranger is sitting on her roommate's bed. That stranger is Hardin, i.e. young Tom Riddle from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Hardin immediately gives me bad vibes when he refuses to leave from the room so that she can change. Major creeper vibes. She and Hardin have a quick back and forth where she shows that she's not like the other girls. She reads books, and then she keeps running into him around campus. So Steph takes Tessa to a party with her friends, and to hang out with her friends, Hardin, Molly, Zed, and Jace. Molly immediately gets on my nerves. She's that girl who's just awful to other girls for absolutely no reason other than she can be. And Jace is also kind of creepy, because why are you an adult man who does not go to that school hanging around college-age people? Like, what are you getting out of that? Molly starts a game of Truth or Dare and almost immediately asks Tessa about her sex life, which, why? Real people do not care about strangers' sex lives. That is such a weird question. Tessa passes on that question, and then she gets dared to kiss Hardin and refuses and leaves the party. Tessa and Hardin are in the same English class, and we find out that Hardin very stereotypically doesn't believe in love. Shocker. The bad boy with the tragic backstory who doesn't believe in love, and the naive girl who really likes romance books who's going to fix him. Hardin seemingly decides to make amends with Tessa, and He tries to become friends with her, and I'm instantly suspicious. He tells her that he wants to show her someplace, and she just gets into his car. Girl, what are you doing? You do not know this man. You have met him like 2 days ago? For all you know, he could be taking you to a private place to murder you and then bury you. You do not go with a random stranger to a secondary location. And then he takes her to the woods, to a lake. No one will find your body. What are you doing? Hardin plays hot and cold with Tessa a la Edward Cullen, saying that they can never just be friends, but that he doesn't date and he won't date her right after they basically went on a date. Tessa's boyfriend Noah, who I honestly would have forgotten about if they didn't keep bringing him up as she was having semi-romantic interactions with Hardin, shows up at college, and he and Tessa spend the day together and go to a party where Hardin and his friends are. Hardin gets into a fight for Tessa's honor, which nobody asked for. They seem to be dealing with the issue just fine on their own, but he does it anyways. Tessa leaves her boyfriend in her bed to go to Hardin after he gets drunk and destroys things in his house. Noah finds out the next morning after she is not there that she cheated on him and he breaks up with her. And I don't know why Tessa was expecting anything else. There are a few problems I have with this part of the movie. Not plot-wise, I just don't understand how the characters don't have common sense. Number 1, I understand that Hardin is the bad boy that Tessa wants to fix. She is very obviously attracted to him from the get-go. It is every single hate to love relationship on TV ever. But at the same time, who leaves their boyfriend in their bed to go to another man who has violent tendencies when drunk and help them? He is literally one step away from physically assaulting whoever he is around when drunk. That is toxic. I don't know if Tessa is just naive to how manipulative relationships work, because nobody could look at Hardin's actions and think, this is a stable person. Number 2, I feel really bad for Noah. He seems like a really sweet guy. He kind of reminds me of a golden retriever. It does seem, even from the beginning of the movie, that they're not really romantically attracted to each other. It's more of like a platonic best friendship that sort of just became a relationship, and they're not really sure how that's going. But that doesn't really give Tessa an excuse. She remembers him every single time something happens with Hardin. She mentions repeatedly that she's going to break up with Noah, but then she doesn't. It takes her physically cheating on him rather than emotionally for him to end it. She does not end it. It really just seems like she's stringing him along because she doesn't want to lose her best friend, when it would have made a lot more sense for her to just be honest and say that she's not attracted to him. Number 3, Steph is my favorite. I love her. She did not tell Tessa about the bet that we find out about at the end of the movie, but at the same time, I feel like she probably just thought it wasn't feasible, that it just wouldn't happen, although it's still not a great move. At the same time though, when Tessa tells her that Noah broke up with her, she immediately just lets her lie down in bed with her and cuddle. No questions asked. She doesn't ask who did it, whose fault was it, what happened. She's just like, you need some time, I got you. And that is what you need in a friend. So after Noah dumps her, Tessa and Hardin start hanging out and doing stereotypical romantic drama, romantic comedy things that are kind of date-like, but I'm also still not sure if they're dating. There is one scene in the astronomy class where the professor is talking about binary stars and how they allow each other to go supernova, and then it cuts to Hardin and Tessa talking. And I think it was a very interesting cinematic choice that they have them talking so loud that they can't hear the rest of the professor's speech about how binary stars can also cause a death spiral and that they could assist in each other's destruction. I think that's actually the one scene that I liked cinematically, because it's very much a moment of, you can't see the red flags because of the rose-colored glasses, so you only hear the good parts of the situation. So Tessa's mom literally just shows up to her dorm one day and barges in because Tessa wasn't responding that day. And given the fact that they seem to live at least a few hours away, she would have had to left that morning to get there, which is very helicoptery. Thing is, I do understand why she's saying that Hardin is a bad influence, because to her, it does look like he is. She cheated on her boyfriend, she's skipping classes, she hasn't really made any other friends, and she's almost exclusively hanging out with him. That's not necessarily uncommon. It's not exclusive to her or to characters in the movie. It's pretty common for somebody to isolate themselves on accident when they get a new boyfriend, but it's not a great look from the outside. At the same time, I'm not saying Hardin is a good boyfriend, significant other, friends with whatever, but her mom is the worst in the scene. It took her under 2 minutes for her to threaten and then go through with cutting off her daughter for dating the boy. You know the number one thing that you aren't supposed to do when you suspect an unhealthy relationship? Cut them off. She is making textbook mistakes. If she was actually concerned about her daughter and not just getting her to do what she wanted, she would have kept the lines of communication open so that when she and Hardin got worse, she could help her daughter. Instead, she just left her daughter, who has like 2 friends, to be on her own. The saddest thing about the situation when watching it was how realistic it was, because I have definitely had friends in college who couldn't tell their parents that they were dating for similar reasons. Tessa doesn't really seem to trust Hardin, so I don't understand why she's with him. She asks him where he is a lot. She doesn't really trust what he's saying. She checks his phone when he's getting messages. I mean, she's right not to trust him. He is doing something shady. To an outside observer, it doesn't seem like he's doing anything suspicious, so it seems odd that she's so concerned. So the two of them move in together after not even 1 semester, not even a month or 2, and she's even more isolated now. This movie should actually just be called What Not to Do in Your First Real Relationship. Also, it's made pretty clear that Hardin does like Tessa. If he actually liked her, shouldn't he have mentioned the bet to her at some point? He keeps saying things like he's not good enough for her or he doesn't deserve her. I honestly think it's just subconscious manipulation. Like, he doesn't seem to have the best mental health throughout the movie, and he's trying to get her to stay with him even though he knows he's doing something that she would reasonably end that relationship because of. He's subconsciously trying to get her to say that she'll still stay with him so that he can use that in the situation that she finds out about that bet. He might not be doing it on purpose, but he's still doing it for that reason. Boo, I say boo to the plot of this movie. Boo. Molly, horrid woman that she is, I do not like her, spills that Hardin actually made a bet during that first party that he would get Tessa to fall in love with him. Again, I haven't read the book, but I'm pretty sure in the book it was actually that he would get Tessa to have sex with him. I'm not sure which one is better. On one hand, one of them is like tricking somebody into having sex with you, but then on the other hand, now you've got emotions involved, and I don't know which one is worse. Tessa understandably is upset and decides to leave Hardin, drop Steph and her friends, and apologize to her mom and her ex. I really feel like this issue in the movie could have been mitigated if she had made any friends by herself instead of just sticking to her roommate's friends. And I don't include Landon because he is connected to Hardin. If she had just made a few more friends without any connection to Hardin, maybe she wouldn't have been swayed by him so easily, and maybe she wouldn't have ended up in that weird relationship that they were in. I'm also glad that her mom apologized to Tessa as well, but I feel like her mom should have been required to explain herself a bit instead of just, I'm sorry too. The movie ends with both of them back at their secret place, side by side, but not together. I don't like that he never explains himself or apologizes after the initial moment where Tessa finds out about the bet. I don't know if it happens in the next movie or the next book or whatever, but I think that it would allow for some closure, and it would allow for watchers to actually root for Hardin instead of just disliking him, as I do. I know that this movie was supposed to be a Harry Styles real person fanfiction, but it also sort of feels like a combination 50 Shades of Grey and Twilight fanfiction, because both of them use and abuse so many of the same tropes. The naive, innocent girl who really likes reading classic romance novels falls in love with the guy who is a bad boy with a tragic backstory and secrets to hide. The guy falls in love with the girl because she's not like the other girls that he's seen around him. I just did not like this movie. Tessa seemed to lack common sense, and she kept getting drawn back to Hardin like she was a moth to his flame. The movie is also annoying because I feel like we're seeing an abusive relationship start, but from the point of view of the people, of the girl in it, where the relationship starts off seemingly normal, but with a few red flags, and then it slowly gets more and more toxic. And luckily in this story, she gets out of the relationship, but she also at the end ends up going back to him. She doesn't get back together with him, but she goes back to him, which indicates that they are getting back together. I just don't think that this should be shown as a love story without there being plot points or characters who more like obviously explain why this relationship is wrong and like scream it out to the audience, because this is a PG-13 movie, and if we're calling this a romantic drama, then this is what people are going to think a romantic relationship is. That is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you are new here, as I am pretty new here, I post new videos every week. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to watch more of my stuff. Alrighty, bye!